Good evening, everyone. This is Atmospheric Alex here, back here with another update on Tropical Storm Melissa, as it is expected to intensify quite a lot over the next few days. And you can see from the thumbnail here, it does have a pretty good shot at becoming a Category 5, at least in the next 5 to 6 days from now. This is going to be quite a situation to watch out for. We are now going to take a look at our satellite imagery for Melissa here, and you can see it's absolutely explosive convective cloud tops here. Earlier on this afternoon, we are seeing a lot of these popping negative 90 degrees Celsius. These were very high in the atmosphere, and that is definitely going to help with our organization process once things get underway. But we are still talking about a pretty big displacement from our lower level center to our mid-level center. As I pause the display right here, it does appear that our low level center is somewhere right within here, and our mid-level center is somewhere right within here. So there is still a pretty big displacement ongoing as wind shear keeps impacting our system. And actually, a lot of this deep convection right within here is being blown off in this general direction, so that is something to note. The system is once again becoming a little less organized. And this is extremely important because over time our system will actually begin to move further and further west than forecasted. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at our National Hurricane Center's cone of uncertainty, and you can see exactly what Melissa could wind up doing here. It is anticipated to move off to the north tonight. However, that has not happened yet. It is staying due west, so this is going to probably need some revisions later on. But we are anticipating this to become a major hurricane and then a Category 4 hurricane by the time we get into the 27th here. So this is quite a serious situation. Again, you could see our track down here. It did stall earlier on today, but it is continuing to move due westward. It was supposed to be moving northwestward at this point in time, but it is continuing to move off in this general direction due to lack of organization. So definitely something interesting to note here. You can see how large this cone is. As we take a look at our spaghetti models here, you can see it is all over the place, and we actually have quite a few spaghetti models that are going back into Haiti and the Dominican Republic. I know, just when we thought this scenario could be completely ruled out, for some reason the chances are coming back very slowly. But again, I don't think this is going to happen. I think this is going to continue right on off here to our west, and you could see a lot of these actually go off to the south of Jamaica and really do bomb this system out deep. Now we're going to look at your key messages here because we have a lot of important things to highlight here. We're going to be taking a look here. Melissa is forecast to meander over the Central Caribbean Sea and could potentially, well, likely at this point, become a major hurricane by early next week. Interests in Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic are urged to continue monitoring the latest forecasts. Okay? So that is something important to note. And due to Melissa's slow motion, the risk of a prolonged period of strong winds, possibly lasting for a day or more, is increasing for Jamaica and the peninsula of Haiti. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion, since strong winds could begin in these areas as early as late Thursday or Friday and continue increasing over the weekend. And Melissa is expected to produce heavy rainfall, probably catastrophic in nature, across portions of the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica through the weekend, bringing a risk for significant life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides. Again, this is going to be a very dangerous and, yeah, you heard it here, potentially even a deadly hurricane moving across these areas, bringing a ton of rainfall. Rain is going to be the main risk out of this system. And we're now going to do some pretty deep analysis here into the conditions ahead of Melissa. We're looking at our ocean heat content right now, and again, I showed this in the last video. We do have a pretty big pool of upwards of 200 units right here, and then across this whole area is off the charts as well. So again, hot waters extending deep down below the surface. Now, for some reason I put this in the wrong order, but we're going to look at our Melissa model track guidance here from most of our hurricane models. You can see the GFS is still out in its own family fantasy world. Don't exactly know why it's doing that, but you can see the majority of our model guidance is now doing something like this. Again, taking it south of Jamaica, right within here, where we do have our H-Wharf and our H-Wharf 2. I'm not entirely sure what that is going on and splitting the difference between this bifurcation here. So very fascinating look. Our intensity guidance here shows the following. You see our two main hurricane models are showing a Category 5 intensity, which honestly does not shock me. The environment ahead of Melissa is going to be nuclear, to say the least. The majority of our model guidance does keep this between a Category 2 to a Category 3, though as of right now, I am currently thinking that a high-end Category 4 is likely. We could see a low-end Category 5, but again, track differences and intensity differences are going to cause some issues in the medium to even, believe it or not, long term. We are now going to take a look at our wind shear forecast from our European model. You can see it is getting absolutely ripped apart right now by upwards of 30 to 40 knots of wind shear. This is anticipated to change though over the next few days as it begins to meander a bit going south of Jamaica and then actually heads towards an upper level feature here. Look at this. We are talking about little to almost no wind shear at this time frame going on through in a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and maybe even Wednesday of next week. You could see intense ventilation ongoing from this system. You could see all of your values here actually moving away. So this is a ton of ventilation for your system, and all your wind shear actually stays right up within here as this controls your upper level air pattern for the time being. This is also a reason why Melissa is going to stall out, and you could see again, it actually carries its upper level feature with it and brings some really crazy conditions on through. But once it gets north into the Bahamas, the wind shear is anticipated to pick right back up again. Now we're going to look at your way upper level winds here in your 200 millibar level because we need to see our upper level anticyclone developing here. You could see a piece of it forming right over here, as you saw, and this is actually going to migrate off to the northeast, and Melissa is going to come crashing into this feature here, and oh my goodness, as it buries itself, you could see rapid to maybe even explosive intensification with the system, and again, it may carry that feature right up into Jamaica, into Cuba, into the Bahamas, so it just really controls the entirety of your upper air pattern for a few days. Remarkable stuff indeed. Now as we go in through our relative humidity here, you could see its moisture pocket. It gets very well consolidated within, and as it stalls and moves off to the northeast, this really does begin to bury itself more. We've got relative humidities upwards of 90 to 95% where this is going to be going, and it really stays tightly cocooned. And again, because of your upper air feature here, actually beats out your frontal system and again continues on off to the northeast in pretty favorable conditions. So this may last a lot longer than expected and be more intense than expected is what we're seeing. As we get a move on here, here's our European ensemble here. You could see there are a few members, interestingly enough, that do favor the GFS scenario, though again, this likely won't happen, but we just cannot take it off our tables yet. It's very stubborn. Again, this system is very uncertain, and you can see a lot of crazy members out here from our EPS that does show this digging deep into your Caribbean regions here, some even impacting Central America at this time. And again, we're seeing some very low millibar ratings here down into your low 910s here into your 900s. We have members here, quite a few, actually showing a sub 900 millibar hurricane. So again, if it parks itself under its upper level anticyclone, we could see this thing approach its maximum allowed intensity, you know, in accordance to physics in this part of the world here, and really physics in the world of meteorology as well as a whole. That is insane to think about. They're seeing an 886 millibar member right here. Plenty of members way below 900 millibars. We're seeing even more 881 millibars here. This is absolutely insane. Look at that down there at the bottom of your screen. I actually don't think I saw this data before. This would be a cataclysmic situation if we saw that happen in Cuba. Let's really hope the landfall is not as serious, but we're seeing likely a major hurricane landfall in Cuba, and this is looking like a very dangerous situation for the most part. As we look at our main European model here, this really did blow up this afternoon. We're taking a look here at a very impactful situation for Jamaica, a direct category 4, maybe even a category 5 landfall on Jamaica there at 932 millibars, dumping torrential, catastrophic rainfall and with your winds as well. You could see this does become a category 5 on this model, and you could see this thing really begins to race off to the northeast, impacts Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas here, getting a Cat 3, Cat 4 impact, and then Bermuda as well, even seeing a major hurricane, where this could be a very high impactful system that I am really concerned about, and I'm watching every step. As we take a look at our wind gust potential here, again, this is not a forecast, but if we did see a scenario like this unfold, it would be quite important to know just how serious these winds could be. You could see how Melissa just stalls out south of Jamaica here, and we're going to speed this up because we don't have all day. This video needs to be a certain length. Boom, right within there, we're seeing wind gusts in knots here approaching 120 to 130 knots right onto Jamaica. With your heavy rainfall, this would be a really nasty worst case scenario. We would be talking about 150 mile an hour gusts with upwards of 3 feet of rain. That is going to be a crisis if that unfolds, so let's really hope it doesn't. And then Cuba, then the Bahamas. Thank goodness gracious, again, this is just getting worse. Speaking of our rainfall totals here from our European model, you could see upwards of around 50 to 60 inches being possible on your southern tip here of Jamaica. Absolutely insane totals there from your model. Again, notice how I said model. This is not a forecast. Again, this could go way south of Jamaica, not dump as much rain, but I'm showing you the worst case scenario so you could stay extremely well prepared and not let anything catch you off guard. And here's a look at our European AI ensemble here, because we're trying to progress through this. Still a few members doing some weird stuff back there, but the majority of them do take it extremely close to Jamaica and do something like this surrounding the island. That is definitely not what we want to be seeing, and again, a lot of strong members making landfall. But the AI is a low resolution model, so assume most of these would be below 930 to even 920 millibars. Our main European AI model shows something like this. Again, shows tremendous amounts of rainfall for Jamaica, a direct landfall, and this continues on through, impacting a ton of people, and then including Bermuda as well. This is thankfully just a model, and again, may not happen, so really got to hope that these worst case scenarios can trend down, and maybe we could see Melissa, which is right here, do something maybe like this at first, and just get away from those islands early on and maybe curve up like this so it doesn't impact nearly as many people, though there's not much that could save it at this point. Your GEFS ensemble shows something like this, a ton of members going and agreeing with your main GFS, which is so bizarre, but a lot of them taking it into Central America, Jamaica, again, Cuba, and this is just a very nasty situation. Our main GFS model, this is highly unreliable, does some strange thing and takes it into Hispaniola. This is not going to happen more than likely, but again, cannot rule it out. It sounds wild, but there's still ensemble members trying to latch onto this scenario, which is very bizarre. Almost makes you wonder, right? Significant rainfall would occur with that scenario, and this goes out to sea. And now as we take a look at our Google DeepMind ensemble here, this is going to be your FNV3 model. You can see Melissa here. I think it's already incorrect, because remember, Melissa is doing something like this. But the majority of these ensembles, in fact, all the members show it going like this right now. So we're seeing a lot of problems in terms of track. So again, maybe I'm mistaken by that. Maybe it started moving northwest, but it's hard to tell right now. A lot of these members actually slam it into the Dominican Republic. That is very weird. Into Haiti, some of them go as well. As you continue it on through, a lot of them do. So there are a lot more members really trying to catch on to the GFS scenario, which is just not something I expected this late in the game. So again, we still need to watch this for sure. But as we rewind the clock back, you could see the ones that do stay south, in my opinion, are the most reliable. Almost every last one of them takes it over Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane. Again, I really do not want this to happen. This would be a very serious blow, and then a lot of these into Cuba and then the Bahamas. It looks like the FNV3 does show that pretty significant bifurcation, a track like this, but then a track like this, something to really watch out for. Our GENC shows something like this. We're pushing it all the way to the end because we don't have a lot of time. In my opinion, this could be a little bit more reliable as it pushes it to the south of Jamaica and does something like this. Also shows it moving far more west than your FNV3 and correlates well with where Melissa is moving at this current point in time. You can see a ton of these actually go right up against Central America. That is going to be something to watch out for, but all these strands of spaghetti are showing major hurricane intensity, basically. Now, a couple more things to really round off the video. I'm going to have to cut a few things out of the video because I need this to be a pretty certain length here. We're going to look at our hurricane models here. This is our HWRF, and you can see it does take Melissa on off a northerly trajectory, which I just don't really think is going to happen. That seems a little bit outlandish, but you could see very intense hurricane. In fact, I haven't looked at these models yet, so this could be up down to 930, 920 as this passes just to the east of Jamaica. Plenty of rain going on in Haiti and tornadoes. Actually, that we could see a waterspout / tornado outbreak if this occurs due to your wind shear. This would be a very dangerous situation, and bringing this into Cuba, holy goodness, that is a lot of rain. Let's see exactly how strong this gets. I am very eager to see this, and also a little concerned, obviously. Yes, it does show a Category 4 major hurricane by the time it shoots through the strait. This is not a forecast. Again, this probably won't happen in this fashion. This takes it on off to the north again, and just the significant impacts do occur. Your HMON model, we're going to have to wait and see what this does. It has a lot of trouble developing and actually keeps it on a fairly westerly trajectory just like this. And I do believe that's a little more likely at this given point in time. This will continue showing it going off to the west here with significant rain impacting Jamaica. A lot of water spouts and tornadoes moving onshore as well. Again, a lot of people are not talking about the right front quadrant of this hurricane and how it could be a pretty prolific tornado producer. But this is going to be a very serious issue for the island of Jamaica. If this goes over the island or just to the west of the island, you guys need to prepare. This looks very serious. Just how strong exactly is the HMON showing? Again, I'm showing the rain and the wind to get a better perspective. It shows this thing absolutely exploding south of Jamaica into a Category 4 major hurricane, and then shows it drifting on off to the southwest a little bit here. Again, it's just around the island the entire time, and not a good situation at all. This would promote catastrophic rainfall, as you saw on your previous frames. What does your HAVS-A model show? It actually shows it getting pulled off to the north a little faster, but then after that, wow, this looks very violent down here in nature. Look at all of your water spouts. Again, look at all of your supercells right within here, all your curlicues, all your beans taking place. We are going to have a very significant issue if these do move onto the island here. So again, we need to watch your tornado threat as well for Jamaica. And this continues on through. That is likely a very violent hurricane at this given point in time. And to see how strong this gets, we'll look at our wind map here, and you can see it here, already a Category 4 by Saturday evening. That's quite impressive. And continuing on through, this does reach Category 5 intensity, 173 miles an hour. Melissa could again reach its upper bounds in such an environment, 188 miles an hour. Goodness gracious, this thing is very violent in nature, and this continues moving on through. This could potentially wind up being a historic situation in terms of intensity. Our HAVS-B, this is our grand finale here. This is where things could get really out of control because it does go quite aggressive. You could see it does move south of Jamaica, so we're pretty confident on that happening. Well, not our other models, so we'll have to watch this. And then our wind intensities. here on our halves B, you can see it looks like it takes a lot more time to develop, which that is very fascinating to note, and it's your wind shear that does that for sure. It does only intensify it to a Cat 4, so there is quite a big realm of possibilities still in terms of intensity, but a Category 4 to a Category 5 is looking likely at this given point in time. And you can imagine how much longer this is going to stay in this area for, another extra 2 to 3 days. So again, if we do see a smaller, more compact system like the Halves A, this could intensify all the way up to its physical limits, basically to the intensity that physics will allow in the realm of meteorology. Absolutely astounding data that we are seeing tonight. And with that being said, you can see that our level of concern is very high right now because the video is long. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, share this video with friends and family on social media. If they live in Jamaica, you absolutely need to do that, okay? Please. And please leave a comment in the section below if you found this video extremely informative and potentially even life-saving over the next few days. You all have a wonderful night, everyone. Stay extremely weather aware out there.